Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soar to Fly podcast. This is Marshall, and I am so honored to be before you again on today. Today's topic is that rejection was your protection. Think of a recent situation or as far back as you can remember where you experienced rejection. Try to get a sense of the emotions you felt back then. Was it fear, shame, embarrassment, sadness, or even anger? I realize it may be difficult to relive these emotions because rejection can strike at the heart of our inner core. But I'd like for you to think about something. What if that rejection was a disguise as your protection for something down the road? Truly think about that, okay? When we experience rejection, we believe it's our fault and our self-esteem is impacted. Our worthiness comes in question, but we are thinking about it incorrectly because there may be something taking place behind the scenes. Everything in life serves a purpose. Sometimes relationship dissolves because each party has gained the lessons they needed. Now, I realize that the wounds inflicted were hurtful, downright ugly, especially if one party has been deceitful. However, putting aside the cause of the breakup, we ought to focus on rebuilding our lives. Let me say that again. Putting aside the cause of that breakup, we ought to focus on rebuilding our lives. For example, how did you get over that rejection? If you think back to that time, can you now see how things had to take place as they did? Listen, I don't know your situation, but I'm guessing you were being protected from something later on. From the heartache and pain, it may appear our sufferings will never end. We may cry ourselves to sleep, trying to understand how we could have been better in that relationship. But here's the thing. We were doing the best we could, given our level of awareness. As you improve, you attract better conditions, and also why self-improvement is an unending journey. Now, people often say life seems like one ordeal after another, and there is no resolve. I often respond back by saying, sometimes the level of your growth determines the intensity of your trials. I believe it to be true on all levels. Now, life is not personal. It is doing its job and responding to a level of consciousness at any point in time. Now, for an example, the person in your teenage years is not the person you are as an adult. So when you experience varying degrees of lessons, it helps you to evolve. Does that make sense? Listen, those very lessons would not arrive as we hope. Otherwise, we would just simply ignore them. Our lessons are often clothed in pain, heartache, and suffering because this is how life gets our attention. We grow through pain and suffering, not in our comfort zone. Think about this in our own lives. When things are smooth sailing, how often are you likely to step out of your comfort zone? To give you another example, people reach out for coaching or counseling when they are immersed in a problem that they can't fix or manage themselves. Until the pain becomes unbearable, people sail along through life until they just can't take it anymore. Rejection is life's way of pulling the rug under us and protecting us from something harmful down the road. Now, I know it may not seem or feel like it, but it may also represent the end of a life lesson. Okay? Are you getting what I'm trying to tell you? Are you relating to this when I'm telling you? Are you beginning to see that there is nothing you could have done to prevent being rejected? It wasn't about what you did or didn't do. It was about your personal involvement following its course. Now, there's no need to beat yourself up or no need to beat yourself up into thinking that you could have done more to keep that relationship alive. In fact, many people believe like staying parked or stuck or stagnant and not even going anywhere is okay to be in that type of relationship while they are being miserable and unhappy. But it is easier to stay in a relationship than rock the boat and move on with their lives. That's a backward thinking. And, I went through that phase. I went through that phase of thinking that if I can just change my husband's thinking, if I can help him to become what he needs to do, I only can do so much. Only God can change that individual. And if that person is not willing to change, then you will have to relinquish that control. I even tried to think for my parents, thinking that, hey, if I can do things that make them love me more. But all along, it was being rejected because it wasn't me that caused the problem. It was something within them that they happened in their past that needed to be fixed. So Marshall couldn't fix that problem. Now, I thought I could. I thought that gaining or affection, thinking that my parents love me because I'm their child. But it was so much damage, things that they was going through in their lives that, again, like I said, even though I was being rejected, it wasn't about me. Okay? You must get to the point and say, you know what? I know I won't do anything or even have the power to do this. So I'm stepping into to dissolve this relationship. Like life is like your parents sending you to your room because they know you won't go to sleep. If they don't intervene, naturally, us as being a kid, we would kick up a fuss because you want to stay up and watch TV all day. But as you mature, as you're getting older, you soon realize that your parents at the time knew what was best for you. And sometimes that is what we experience with rejection. Does that make sense? Life intercedes because it knows what's best for us and what's coming further down the line. Now, I've spoken with so many people over the years who see their rejection as a blessing in disguise. Some met the love of their life not long after. Others got the dream job they always wanted. We got to trust life, aka our Creator, which is God, because He knows what He's doing. But it may not seem that way in your own carnal thinking, because rejection is not pleasant. Now, I'm not asking you to like it but accept what's trying to teach you, this rejection is trying to teach you, okay? I'm inviting you to accept that possibly your rejection may have been your protection for something in your future. Now, when I was a child, I never understood why my parents, especially my mother, why it was certain things that she would say to me. And I never understood why the hateful venom that she used to say to me. Now, listen, again, I'm not trying to speak ill of my mother, because to this day, I still love her, and I'm still praying for the reconciliation of our relationship. But during that time as a child, I never understood why, the things that she used to say to me that was very hurtful. And when she was being rejecting me as being her daughter, I never understood it until now, because God was preparing what I'm saying to you all now. So it was building up a purpose. Now, during that time, it was painful. I didn't like it. I didn't like my mom was saying those things to me. I didn't know. And I wish that those words that she said to me, that I prayed that during that time when I was a child, that she would take it back. But when words are out there, words are hurtful. When it says sticking stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. Words do hurt, okay? So basically what I'm trying to explain to you is I'm not asking you to like what I'm saying, but accept what is trying to teach you, okay? I'm inviting you to accept the possibility, again, your rejection may have been your protection for something that's going on right now in your future. And knowing this, I'd like you to get a journal and write down some things. Write down what lessons you gained from your rejection. For example, have you learned to honor and value yourself more because what you went through in your rejection? Have you learned to create boundaries on what you will accept and not accept? Now that's a good one right there, because going through this rejection, now that, hey, I'm not going to accept how you talk to me. I'm not going to accept you to walk over me as a step stool or as somebody who's just out in the street. I know who I am, my self-worth is. Does that make sense? Now, rejection may be a painful teacher. It is also a wise guardian who knows what is best for us long before it comes to pass. Let me say that again. The wise guardian, which is God, he knows what is best for us long before it comes to pass. You would get through this. Yes, that rejection hurts. It hurt me. Okay? Yes, you wanted to stick by and be hopeful on the things would change for the good in your marriage. I know I did. I was hopeful. I was hopeful that things would change. But as you all heard from my earlier podcast, it was some things that he was dealing with. There were some things that I was dealing with. And that right there was teaching me that, hey, that's a part of life. Things happen. Okay? Things which would often change for the good eventually. Okay? I know right now it's hurt. It is painful to be rejected. It hurts. But please don't beat yourself up. Don't put yourself in the dark hole and let life swallow you up. Just because that person didn't see your value or who you are, the gift that God has given them to you or you given to them, just because they didn't see that, God has got someone else for you. He's always has somebody else, a plan for you. Don't give up. You have worth in you. Okay? Just because that person didn't see who you truly are. Just because your friends or family members or the people in your school don't realize who you are. Please don't beat yourself up on it. Those people are not part of your journey. Okay? Listen. Every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, I was actually being redirected to something better. Let me say that again. Every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, I was actually being redirected to something better. You are wonderfully made. Hang with positive, life-giving people who will speak life to that rejection. You are not rejected. You are wonderfully made. All right, let me go ahead and end this podcast. I hope you guys had a great, wonderful week thus far. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.